Hi guys, welcome back. I've been driving the excavator a lot lately, so today I thought we'd take a quick look at the excavator and I would show you also some of the very basic maintenance I've learned to do on it since I got started. So let's go take a look. First thing I do before I even start the machine is check the fluid levels. For the hydraulic fluid, there is a convenient window right here on the side to check the levels. With hydraulic fluid, it's important to make sure that the boom, arm, and bucket are fully extended so you can get a true reading of your levels through the meter right here. If it does need to be topped up, you can just open the cover and fill it up in there. One thing I've noticed with hydraulic fluid is that it's really viscous, so using a funnel while you're pouring can help keep the mess down. In here you'll also find access to the gas tank, diesel fuel right in here when it needs a top up, and also you do need a key to access this compartment. Next thing I check is the engine oil levels. So for that we come around to the rear and open the other compartment here. And the dipstick is right here. And that looks just fine. As you can see, this excavator has metal tracks. I call them his feet, so he's got big metal feet. You can get them with rubber feet, but for forestry work, the metal ones are more durable, even if they are super squeaky. So you can see here we have a bolt and a block that holds the bucket in place. When we want to change buckets, we actually have to manually remove and reinstall this. Some excavators have a quick release to change buckets more quickly. It works on the hydraulic system, and our additional hydraulic line is running to the thumb here, which not all excavators have. So if we wanted a quick release in addition to that, we'd have to run another hydraulic line, and then we would have to sacrifice one of the controls inside the cabin. Probably the one that pivots the boom like this, since it's not something that we use very often. So something to consider, but for now we're doing it manually. Okay, so we can't talk about heavy machinery maintenance without talking about grease. It's really important to grease all the moving parts on a machine like this to keep it running smoothly and prevent wear and tear. The manufacturer recommends that every moving part on the arm and bucket be greased every 10 hours, so today I'm due for that. And there is a grease point at each end of every cylinder and also one at every pivot point. So that is a lot of grease points. We're going to take a quick look at those and then I'm going to grease the machine.
For this, I like to make sure I'm wearing my work clothes, have my hair tied back so it doesn't get in the way, have some disposable gloves, a garbage bag, paper towels, and some Q-tips, the grease, and of course, the grease gun.
Okay, so grease and camera equipment are not a great mix, so I'm going to show you one grease point up close, and then I'm going to move the camera away while I do the other ones. So you can see here, this is a grease point at the top of one of the hydraulic cylinders, and you can see it's kind of covered in grease from the last time I greased it, and dust, and it's kind of mucky. So the first thing I'm going to do is clean it off. This is where all of your paper towels and garbage bag are going to come in handy. So we wipe that off. And now you can see it. This is called a Zerk fitting, and it's actually where you plug your grease gun in, and that's going to go and grease this whole pivot point. Right, so my Zerk is clean, and so is the end of my grease gun attachment, and this kind of just snaps into place. You just push it on and then activate the grease gun. And you can see here the grease is starting to come out the joints here. So once I can really see the grease coming out, that's enough. And then a good yank pulls the grease gun off of the Zerk, and we're ready to move on to the next one. It's important to remember when you're greasing not to forget to grease the moving parts on the bull here. A couple of the points are underneath the excavator, so it's a little tricky to access, and they tend to be pretty dirty under there, so really important to give them a good cleaning before applying the grease. So I mentioned in my last video when I was learning to drive the excavator that the controls can be set up in 2 different configurations, and the switch to change between configurations is right here under the seat, which, like pretty much all the compartments on this thing, you need the key to get into, and it's right here on the side. So you can set it up for backhoe configuration or the excavator pattern. I've tried it with the backhoe pattern and the excavator pattern, and I originally thought the backhoe pattern it makes more logical sense to me, and I thought it would be easier. But even though the excavator pattern doesn't make as much sense logically, it's so much more intuitive. I have to think about it a lot less to get the excavator to do what I want it to do. Okay, once we're inside, we've got a seatbelt, important safety feature. I'm not turning it on right now so that you can hear me, because it is a bit noisy. One thing I really love about this, I don't know if it's standard on all machinery of this type, since this is the only one I've ever operated, but there's this red handle right here, and nothing of the hydraulics will work if this handle is in the upright position. So you have to actually push this down like this. That will engage the hydraulic systems, and now everything on the excavator will be operational. This actually kind of blocks the door, so you can't even really get out without lifting this out of the way. So that is super great, because that way you won't snag any of the controls accidentally on your way in or out, and hurt yourself or break something. Really, really cool safety feature, I think. So, love that one. On each side here we've got the controls. Like I mentioned, it's set up like an excavator, so really pretty intuitive. They're well positioned for use. Over here on the right side I've got a control panel for air conditioning. This has air conditioning. I haven't used it yet, so I don't know if it works. Since I'm just learning, I prefer to use the excavator with the door open so that I can hear the sounds it makes. If I want to be able to identify a problem by sound, first I need to know what it sounds like when it's working properly. So really getting used to the sounds that the excavator can make could help me potentially identify a problem later on. So if you're just starting out, maybe something to consider as well, even if it's hot and dusty. So yeah. We've also got lights back here, windshield wipers, and a cup holder, so stay hydrated. In the front, we've got the forward and backwards controls for the tracks, so that's on a handle here. Actually 2 handles, one for the right and one for the left track. It also has pedals, so you could potentially operate the hand controls and drive with your feet if you're really good at multitasking. I'm not, so I'd rather drive when I'm driving and operate the shovel when I'm shoveling, so I haven't done both of those things at the same time yet. Other pedals down here on the right side, we've got the boom angle control, which is the one we would potentially sacrifice if we wanted to have a quick release on the bucket. And on the left foot, we have the thumb control, so that's the little thing that's on the end of the bucket that we will probably use mostly for moving logs, but is also great if you want to move a big rock and just make sure it's stable inside the bucket before you move. You can clamp it down a little bit with the thumb. So that's pretty much it for the controls. I find them pretty intuitive and well positioned. For once, I don't feel like everything is oversized for me. I feel like even a tall person would have to like really bend over to be controlling this, the forward and backward action. So I can actually stay pretty much upright and reach it anyway. So yay! Something that's sort of to my size, which is kind of nice. Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick look and basic maintenance of John Deere 35D excavator. It's time for me to get to work now, so hopefully we'll see you guys again soon. Take care. Bye.